and hit me.
Okay, we're going to move our objectives over here so they're out of the way. Let's move them down here so that they're completely out of the way. So, welcome to anybody who's been following along on these missions that I've been doing. Turn the pitot heat on. In the VFR Academy, the VFR Academy, Flight Sim Academy, and these are the VFR missions. This is the final bush trip, so we have done the VFR Basic, we've done the approach, circuits, the local flight, we've done night VFR, then we did abnormal procedures, we then did mountain flying, we then did the UK bush trips, the US bush trips. These are the New Zealand bush trips, which is going to take us from here, Milford Sounds, a short 20-minute flight around the coast to Martins Bay, and then from Martins Bay we will fly out to what is quite an iconic arrival into Queenstown. I know it's iconic because I've spent some time, we all did through lockdown, on YouTube, didn't we? Saw quite a few, whether they were simulated or real world flights into Queenstown, and it has quite a specific approach you need to be considerate of, because you've got, like here, mountain peaks on the one side, which means that the dead side of the airport doesn't have much maneuvering space, but then the live side of the airfield has like townships that you need to be considerate of. So anyway, we're gonna check to make sure that our controls are responding. Can I see over my shoulder to see? Yeah, there we can see the elevator and right shoulder. Yep, can't see behind to see that the stabilizer's moving. We're going to check. We have full fuel, and we have engine oil and temps in the green, pressures in the green. Landing lights are on, taxi lights are on, pitot heat is on, controls are free and correct. We are going to, so as we said, we're going to go takeoff. Runway is 29, it's about 285 degrees magnetic. We've got a straight out climb, an immediate right hand turn to 305 degrees for 4.43 nautical miles, about 2 minutes 20 seconds. We won't climb above 1,500 feet until we reach Stirling Falls, at which point we will turn left 261 degrees to Dale Point for 2.37 nautical miles, or about 1 minute 14 seconds. Then it's on to Yates Point on a radial compass bearing 335 degrees for 6.16 nautical miles, 3 minutes 12 seconds. At Yates Point we will then turn right 014 degrees for 8.43 nautical miles, 4.24 seconds, and we will track all the way to Martins Bay, which we will be able to spot. It has a distinctive crescent shaped sand dune or sand bay. And then Martins Bay Airfield, I'm not going to spoil the surprise for you. When we get there, you're going to see why this approach is quite hairy. But there's no published approach. It's a T-shaped runway, and we need to land on the longest runway. This flight in total should take us, as I said, about 20 minutes. Local time is 09:33. UTC, it says is 21:39. That is a lie. UTC right now is 1752 real world. In sim it's saying that UTC is 21:39, so I have no idea what's talking about there. But anyway, yeah, estimated time en route, it reckons it's 13 minutes. It might take us a little bit longer. We are ready to depart, so I'm not going to procrastinate any further. Parking brake, I think, is already off. It is off. So let's get a little bit of power on. Keep headbutting the microphone, let me move it out of the way. Test our brakes. Great. There's no traffic, but we'll call out our intentions just in case. Milford traffic, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, taxiing runway 29 for a departure to the southwest VFR to Martins Bay. Okay. You can see the windsock's quite limp, so very, very gentle winds. So takeoff shouldn't be a concern, but because we have, you'll see when we do our turn onto line up the runway, we have mountains directly ahead of us. I'm going to do a full power takeoff flaps, take off, so that we build up as much rolling momentum. I want the aircraft to fly off the runway, and then we'll pitch for the climb so that we aren't low and slow without any air room or altitude to play with if we have any issues. So keeping an eye out for any other maneuvering traffic. I know there's none, but good practice. I'm going to hold short. Check to make sure there is nothing in the circuit. Milford traffic, Golf Bravo Echo Lima Victor, entering runway 29, VFR departure to the southwest. Okay. Wait for the aircraft to start rolling. Take the power back out. So like I said, no messing around. So we're in fixed gear, but let's check. Landing gear is down and locked. Takeoff flaps are set. Check that visually and by checking our flap lever. Controls, free and correct. Lights as required. Engine gauges and oil pressure temps all in the green. We are good to go. So let's take a time check. It is 17:56 and 20 seconds. So we'll wait until we're airborne, and it's a 2-minute 18 track. So hold the brake. Okay, VFR just went black on me for a second. VFR, I don't know why I said VFR. VR just went black on me for a second. Don't know why. So full power. Let the RPM stabilize. Release the brake. Slight right rudder to maintain center line. Airspeed's active. V1. Gonna hold it down here, see if we can just fly off the runway. There you go. Positive rate of climb. Gonna make our immediate turn 305 degrees, which is a slight right hand bank. $200 feet. For a 2-minute track, so we're looking at 17. Well, it's 17:56 1757, almost 1758 dead. So we were looking for 2000 local, 1900 UTC. We're at 500 feet. We'll bring flaps up. $600. So we know that this track is only 2 minutes, but we can just see visually we're going to fly through the gaps. We're going to follow the lake around. Oh, didn't notice the cruise ship there the last time. Nice. 800 feet. I'm going to lean out the mixture a little bit. $1,000. 55 seconds left on this track. 1,100. 1,200. It's just nicely trimmed for the climb. We're not holding on to the yoke at all at the moment, and it's nice and stable. 1,250. Start pulling the power back, and we have 18 seconds left. $1,500. Let's trim to bring the speed up. We're going to make our left turn 261 degrees. And that's for 1 minute, 1 minute 14 seconds to be precise. It's 1,850, so 1,802. Applying some nose down trim so that we pick up speed but don't climb with this power setting. Okay, we can pull some power out. And visually, we know that this leg is complete. We can make our right turn 335 degrees. We can climb as well. Went dark in here because the sun's now behind that ridge line. Okay, right, rolling wings level 335 degrees, 1,500 feet. As I said, we can now climb past the falls, and this is for 3 minutes. So time check is 18:02. So 18:05. Visually, it's just stunning in here. Hopefully the stream captures at a nice 1080p once it's finished processing, and that still pales in comparison to what it looks like in VR. It's so clear. the progress that they're making and have made is amazing. It's just it literally costs a fortune to keep up with it. However, less than it would cost for real world lessons, so we all invest in our hobbies and make sacrifices elsewhere. So 1,700 feet, and we have about 30 seconds left on this track. We will then turn right 014 degrees. We're going to continue climbing a little, maybe get up to 2,000 feet so that we can cross over these outcrops of land. Okay, so there we go. So we're going to now turn right 014 degrees. And cross these ridge lines. Okay, roll wings level. Check the HSI to make sure. Okay, wings are level. We've got a nice gradual climb to make sure we come over these ridge lines. And then this is for 4 minutes 24 seconds. So it is now 18:04 and 50 Zulu. So we'll go until 18:08 Zulu. Take it up to 2,000 feet. The New Zealand scenery is stunning. I can understand why it features in so many videos. Okay, 1,900. Need to be conscious of any other traffic since we're VFR and it's uncontrolled airspace. Okay, 2,000 feet. Let's pull power back a smidge just to level out. There we go. Need to be conscious of updrafts and then downdrafts as we approach the ridges and cross over the ridges. So we've got about another minute on this track, and then it is a right turn 045 degrees. And then at our 10 o'clock we should see that sand bay that's in a crescent shape. It should be the other side of this ridge. If not this ridge, the one just ahead of us. Let's have a look. Yep, so it's not this ridge. That river estuary. That's not our reference point. So that just highlights that if you've got the distance on the leg and you've got the time you should be on the leg and the visual references don't match up, but you've flown the distance, or you've flown the time on the leg and you haven't flown the distance yet, then it just highlights that our airspeed is off. We're not flying as high in airspeed as the calculations in the flight. So that's the bay, that's the crescent bay we're looking for. It's distinctive. Now you tell me if you can see an airfield. Now, only because I flew this yesterday and so I'm reminded of where it is, I know where the airfield is. So right there on the nose you see that slight, you see like the leftmost, so it's the northwesternmost part of the what is it? It's almost like a bay. Well, it is a bay. It's exactly that. It's a bay. There's a little kink that has like a little right angle corner to it. That right angled corner is the visual reference point for the approach to the runway. And down there, where all you can see are trees, nestled in amongst those trees, hidden, is the runway. And just at this point, Microsoft Flight Simulator loses connection, but we'll wait for that to clear. It does that a lot, and then it'll come back. So there you go, and it's come straight back. So I'll call it out as the wing. So right now, right under the right wing is the runway. You just can't see it, and the edge of the wing is just about to cross over that right angled little corner right there. So if we now look, just coming behind the right wing, you can just about make out a lighter shade of green through the trees. That's the runway, and you'll see it when we turn final. And from now I'm going to concentrate on the landing. I need to nail it. And so gear is down and fixed. Flaps, we'll go first stage flaps. Rudder pedals, turning base. I'm going to turn straight onto final. I'm going to go to full flaps. Got to stay quite high initially to keep a visual on the runway. So if you look at that right angled corner and then the river ahead of us and join those two lines, just to the right of them, running parallel to that line, is the runway. So I've got to pull speed back even further because we need to be as slow as possible when we get over these trees at the northern shoreline, and then we need to drop onto the runway, bleed off as much speed as possible because we have a really short rollout before we're confronted with trees, where we've got to thread the needle to get the wingtips between these tall trees and the trees that flank us. So throttle coming back, at idle, hold it in the air, we're on the brakes, putting back on the yoke as well to slow us even faster. And we're down. Flaps can come up. But notice it hasn't recognised that we've landed. The lesson hasn't. Well, let's track back up and down the runway, see if we can get it to acknowledge that we're down. Because it would be nice. I think we deserve acknowledgement after getting in here. So we need to get ourselves situated. So I'm going to watch that left wing tip. And 180. I don't know if it's because it's expecting us to land south to north, so I'm going to track back up the runway. Reciprocal course of how we just came in, but look at the gap we had to land through. This is ridiculous. We've got a little bit bogged down, so a little bit more power to get us moving again. Surely a couple of these trees need to go. Sorry, trees, but I mean, there's barely room to get between here. And as though the briefing calls out, take the longer runway, not the shorter runway, which is this one that we're crossing now. I don't know what can land. Well, those really short takeoff landing films, the tail draggers can probably get down on that, but I don't know what else can. So, okay, let's give that tree a wide berth. I want to see if I can find a parking spot that will trigger the end of this mission. No. Well, we're counting it as we're down. So parking brake on. We'll completely lean out the mixture to cut off alternators off, batteries off, magnetos off, all light switches are off. And that's it. That's leg one done. Don't know if it's going to count. Don't know if it's going to let us do this. The next leg, if it doesn't, then I'll just do the check flight and call it a day for the VFR element of FS Academy. But yeah, what a landing. Let me know if you've done this mission and you've managed to get it to trigger a successful completion of the leg. I'll be very curious to know what I need to do to get it to register it. If you struggled as well to excuse that ambient noise, if you struggled as well to get down, but then successfully get down, kudos, well done. That was probably the most challenging landing I've had. That wasn't one of the landing challenges. If you like, no, it was a breeze, it was really easy, and these are the techniques I used, or you've flown into here multiple times before, or you're a real world pilot and you've flown in here, let us know how it goes. But other than that, if you've made it this far, then congratulations as well. I will see you in the check flight video, which I'll probably do in a short while. Just going to take a quick comfort break. And then after that, I think I'll get straight into the IFR Academy series as well, so that I can but continue to enhance my proficiency with avionics, navigation, radios, comms, again, all building momentum up to being able to take the practical lessons in the VATSIM P1 PPLA series of lessons. So yeah, I will see you. Enough rambling from me. I'm quite shocked that we got down and that we survived, and the plane's in one piece.
Welcome to your VFR skills test. Venice is the setting for today's flight, which will involve several flight exercises that I'll ask you to perform. If I see something going wrong, I'll start with a caution. If it goes uncorrected, I'll have to fail the flight and you'll need to restart. Don't overfly Venice City at any point, as this is prohibited. The same goes for runway 22 left here in Venice, as only 22 right is in use. Aircraft checks and configuration is your responsibility, but I may require you to use certain configurations for some exercises, which I'll ask you for at the time. I'll handle the radio so you can concentrate on the flying. I'll get the ATIS.
First contact. This is Venice Information Romeo. At time 1020 Zulu. Runway in use for arriving and departing. Runway 22 right. Surface wind 260 at 5 knots. Visibility 10 kilometers or more. Clouds view 3,000 feet. Temperature +14. Dew point +8. QNH 1013. Runway 22 left is closed. Contact Venice with Information Romeo and aircraft type on first contact. This is Venice Information Romeo. At time.
Okay, that's controls checked.
And taxi to the holding point Yankee to your left, and I'll call ready for departure.
Parking brake can come off. And we can taxi.
Venice Tower, India, Foxtrot, Sierra, Alpha Charlie, Diamond DA40 with information Romeo, QNH 1013, holding short at Yankee, ready for departure into the circuit.
India Alpha Charlie Venice Tower, cleared for line-up and takeoff, runway 22 right. Wind 260 at 3, cleared into the circuit, cool down wind.
Cleared for line-up and takeoff, runway 22 right, Wilco, India Alpha Charlie. Line-up and depart runway 22 right into the left-hand circuit at the standard circuit altitude.
No traffic on final. Okay. Full power. Track the center line. Airspeed is active. V1. Nose should just lift off the runway. There it goes, starting to come up. Positive rate climb. Continue tracking, runway heading. 200 feet. $300 feet. 400 feet. Flaps can come up. 500 feet. Wait for the airspeed to build. The nose doesn't drop. 600 feet. 700 feet. 800 feet. Middle marker. 900 feet. 1,000 feet. Turn left to downwind.
Correct your circuit altitude to 1,000 feet.
I hit the trim button by mistake.
This first circuit will end with a go-around on final approach, then we'll fly to Venice Lido airfield. You must correctly perform the go-around when instructed, including setting full power and not pitching up excessively. India Alpha Charlie requests low approach and go-around.
India Alpha Charlie.
Every so
A-firm,
often
clear
the
low
mouse
approach, runway
cursor
22 right.
hovers over like one of
Low
those
approach 22 right, India Alpha Charlie.
pop-up windows, and then my
Approach 22 right,
controls
go
just
around when
stop
instructed.
responding.
Complete
So
your downwind checks.
because throttle wasn't responding, I pulled and accidentally triggered trim up instead of pulling the power back. So we will pull the power back slightly. Landing gear is down and fixed. Excuse me. We'll take first stage of flaps. Maintain 1,000 feet. Speed holding at 90 knots. Need to sneeze. Excuse me, not the time for a sneeze, but it didn't result in any erroneous control inputs. So landing light is on. Oil pressures and temps in the green. Engine RPMs in the green. Getting a little bit of positive vertical speed, so let's pull the power out a little bit so as we cross the off the water onto the land. Got a bit of an updraft. So we can turn base and start descending. We're going to do one turn base to final. Make sure we don't line up runway 27 left by mistake, as it's easy to get transfixed on it. We're going to go landing flaps indicated, and can see that they're down. Continuing our turn, cross runway 27 left, 600 feet, start to roll wings level, 500 feet, runway 27 right. Again, landing gears down and fixed, flaps at landing, 400 feet, just a little bit above the glide on the PAPI. That's okay, we've got one red light. Now we've got 4. So just arrest our descent a little. It's okay with doing it visual anyway.
Go around.
Okay, so we'll set full power. Flaps to 0.
India Alpha Charlie.
Track
going
runway
round. Request
heading.
to leave the circuit en route Lido.
India Alpha Charlie Roger, left turn out approved. Report when changing frequency.
Wilco, India Alpha Charlie. Climb up to 1,500 feet and fly to the far end of runway 22 right before turning.
500 feet. $650. 800 feet. That's 1,000 feet. $1,200. Excuse me. There goes the middle marker.
Left heading 130 to leave the circuit, aiming for the bay entrance.
And it's 1,500 feet. 20 degrees bank. Roll wings level.
Continue towards the bay entrance and find Lido Airfield. When you see it, fly us directly overhead the airfield at 1,500 feet. India Alpha Charlie changing to Lido 118525.
India Alpha Charlie Roger.
Lido Radio, India Foxtrot Sierra Alpha Charlie, DA40, 1,500 feet, overflying Lido, southbound.
India Alpha Charlie Lido Radio Roger, circuit is clear, runway 23 in use.
See, we're just skirting over that restricted airspace, just right on the edge of it if you're looking on the Navigraph map. 1,500 feet. Keep calling this the Cirrus, and it's not the Cirrus, it's the DA40. Okay, we're going to fly over Lido Airport, 1,500 feet.
India Alpha Charlie overhead, southbound 1,500 feet.
Excuse me.
India Alpha Charlie Roger, no reported traffic.
We're overhead Lido now, continue straight ahead. Now, please make a left turn, taking us back towards Lido Airfield.
20 degrees bank. Slight back pressure to ensure the nose doesn't drop and we start losing altitude. Excuse me.
Keep your turn going and perform an overhead join to enter the circuit for Lido runway 23. Runway 23 has a left-hand circuit pattern, and I'd like you to use a joining altitude of 1,500 feet. I need to check that you maintain altitude until descending on the dead side, having crossed the correct runway threshold. India Alpha Charlie turning inbound to Lido to join overhead runway 23, 1,500 feet.
India Alpha Charlie, roger, no reported traffic.
Thank you. You can now descend to circuit altitude on the dead side and enter the circuit for runway 23. Turn to cross the runway 05 threshold, not overflying Venice City. India Alpha Charlie descending dead side.
India Alpha Charlie, roger, QNH is 1013.
Okay, so 20 degrees. Can't overfly Venice City, so let's make it a tight turn. To the runway drawing itself in.
Turn left onto downwind and prepare for a touch and go, followed by a low circuit. Correct your circuit altitude to 1,000 feet.
Too conscious of not flying over.
India Alpha Charlie downwind 23, touch and go.
India Alpha Charlie, roger.
Complete this circuit and perform a touch and go on runway 23. I need to check that you take off again with full power and take off flaps set.
Just paying too much attention to positional awareness and not altitude as well. Okay, 1,000 feet. First stage flaps. Turn left base. We're going to do a turn base onto final. Landing flaps. Track the center line. pretty steep approach. But I'm still in control, so I'm okay. Idle. Flare. Floating a bit. Down. Set flaps.
Perform a touch
1.
and go.
Full power. Lifting off.
Keep takeoff flaps and climb to 500 feet to perform a left-hand low-level circuit. India Alpha Charlie entering low-level circuit, runway 23 to land.
India Alpha Charlie, roger.
Maintain 500 feet and complete a left-hand low-level circuit to a full stop landing. India Alpha Charlie, low-level downwind 23 to land.
India Alpha Charlie,
The
roger, no
connection,
reported traffic.
no connection
Perform full
is a
stop
little
landing
distracting.
with full flaps to complete your skills test, coming to a stop on the runway.
We'll do a tighter circuit because we're so close in and we're only at 500 feet. 400 feet. $300. Power to idle. Flare. We're going to hold it. We're floating. Flaps up. We'll roll it out. Some gradual braking, but not a lot. Parking brake, and that's VFR.
Congratulations. You've performed all flight exercises correctly, and I'm pleased to say you've passed your VFR skills test. Well done. I hope you enjoy using your new skills wherever your flights take you. Happy landings and best of luck.
letting them hit me.